The feels. The feels for this Hunter x Hunter episode. Meruem, the king. No, not even the king. Meruem, the ant, dies. I will no longer call him the king. He is Meruem, no less. Nothing more, nothing less. This episode, the feels. I am not kidding. You know that feeling that you get in anime when there's an emotional scene and your eyes start getting watery. But of course I didn't cry. I'm a man. I don't cry. I don't cry at this shit. But you know the anime is doing something right when you get the feels. Meruem, his final moments were absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. The animation was done superbly. I loved every moment of this episode. Well, not really actually. To be honest, the beginning, the only part I liked was Poof just lying there on the floor, like just dead, and the despair that was shown in his eyes. That was glorious. I just loved seeing that guy just dead and wasted away all by himself. The rest of it was, I don't really know how I feel, because the news report and when they showed the guy, the leader who was apparently actually still alive with 30 years of retirement, I think that was all kind of unnecessary and kind of put me off the mood. But after that, after Netero gave out his will, which we never really heard by the way, after all the reports, the episode did flawlessly. It was amazing. Sorry, but one thing I must question is, what if Netero did not fight Meruem? Like, what could have happened? Like, Meruem is not that bad person that we all know. He could have been one of the best characters in anime in general. Like, I love him as a villain. He's probably my top villain by now. But it just leaves you thinking, what if Netero tried a different way? What if he didn't resort to violence? What if he didn't resort to killing the king? What could have happened? Like, could he have made an agreement between humanity? Could he have shaped humanity into a better thing? Because in this episode you see that his chimera ant, do you know how his chimera ant side he's no longer there. He's kind of like humanized. He has humanity inside of him. He's not that ruthless killing machine anymore. Well, okay, he was like in the last episode when he forget all about his memory. But once that word Komugi came up, he was a different person. He's no longer the king, the killer. He's now Meruem, the leader, wherever I don't know what he say. He's always kind of like a leader kind of person. You can see that how he still talks to Kamuki. He still tells her to follow his orders and all that shit. But he's no longer that ruthless killer. So I just want to know, what if he wasn't poisoned? I actually didn't want the king to die, even though it was inevitable. Like, there's no way no one could beat him. The only way for him to die was the poison. That's it. But his final moments were, yeah, as I said before, beautiful. His final moments when playing Komugi in Gang, I don't know what that game is, but I was hoping we would actually get a final game, and of course, he loses. But but not only does he lose, Komugi decides to stay with him after Meruem says that the poison is contagious, which means Komugi is basically throwing her life to be with the king. At the moment when Meruem and Komugi say that, it felt beautiful. That's when the feels really started to hit. Like, Komugi would die with the king while playing that Gungi game, whatever we call it. So that was a truly beautiful moment where not only has Meruem become this humanized kind of being, but Komugi, a blind person who's attracted by the king, decides to not only stay with him but die with him. That was a truly touching moment. But one other moment which I need to mention is the moment with Palm and the king, where he was so desperate to see Komugi that he kneels. Let me repeat, the king kneels. When have you ever heard of a king that kneels before a lower being? That's how much of an attachment this king had to Komugi. And that really shows how much he has changed. A person who would never follow any orders decides to kneel down to Palm just so he could spend his final moments with Komugi. So that truly shows how much the king has changed since he was born. And then while we sit through the credits, while we see all the moments with Kamugi and King, the king constantly says, "Kamugi, are you still there?" "Of course I am, King." "Kamugi, are you there?" "Yes, Meruem." Ah, this was truly touching, and I know I must sound like a complete twat for saying this shit, but this episode was truly, truly beautiful. That moment where the king finally says, "I'm feeling tired, I want to take a nap. Kamugi, can you hold my hand?" Oh my days, that was so sad because you knew the king is finally about to die. At that moment, where in the anime it shows that scene holding with Kamugi holding the king's hand with blood running down her nose and mouth. Oh. Damn, the feels. So the king and Kamugi both die together. And that's pretty much the end of the Chimera Ant arc. So what do you guys think of this whole arc, huh? What do you think of Meruem's death? Was it as beautiful as I thought it was? Or did you get the feels which I felt? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for more, and let's give it up for Meruem.